Welcome back. Today we are going to be talking about Patrick O'Sullivan. He came into the NHL with kind of a little fanfare, a little bit of it, and now he is a top 5 NHL player easily, and we're going to talk about that. So firstly, all the way on the top right, he is drafted in the second round in 2003, 53rd overall by Minnesota. O'Sullivan had a little bit of hype around him. He had some pretty good junior years. Wasn't known if he would pan out in any way. Certainly not to the level that he has right now. But before he can play an NHL game, he's traded. June 24th, 2006, he's traded to the LA Kings with the 2006 first-round pick that would end up being, I believe, 15th overall from the Oilers, in exchange for Pavel Demitra. So, big piece in this deal is the first-round pick, but O'Sullivan, he's kind of the guy that has to live up to that, hey, we got you for Pavel Demitra, you got to do something. He doesn't. 2006-2007 with the Kings, his only season, 44 games, 5 goals, and the goals are arguably the most interesting point of this video. 5 goals, don't look down here, don't cheat. 5 goals, 14 assists, 19 points, and the Kings missed the playoffs. That is his only pre-HRHSL season, as the league goes into a very temporary lockout and ownership switches over, of course, to Harry Rice. O'Sullivan then doesn't play for another 4 seasons. Well, three if you will. Doesn't play in 07-08. He's sent down to, I believe it's Manchester at that point. He's sent down to the Manchester Monarchs. And he is not happy about that. This is a guy who just put up 19 points in 44 games, can play a good third-line role, is on pace for roughly 30 points in a full NHL season, and he's sent down. I understandably is not happy with that, and he's sent down again in 2009, and he's sent down in 07 and 08 and 09. He is not called up. He's used in preseason. He's used in training camp. Head coaches of the Kings have said that he was impressive, but he didn't play. And then LA wants to extend him. He says no. He does not want to be an AHLer for the rest of his career. So he walks. And in free agency, he signs July 1st. Signs with the Colorado Avalanche. It's about $2.6 million for 3 years. And it was a bad contract. Based purely off those 44 games, he had put up decent, okay numbers in the AHL. It was clear he wanted to be in the NHL. He was ready for the NHL. He had NHL talent, but he didn't want to be in the AHL. And it just doesn't click in Colorado. In 2010-2011, he plays only 39 games, 4 goals, 1 assist, 5 points in 39 games, and then he's traded. February 1st of 2010, he's traded with Mathieu Perreault to Columbus in exchange for James Neal. So James Neal not had the greatest career at all, in any sense of the word. He's not been at all that great, but compared to O'Sullivan, he was pretty decent. He's been a part of some good teams. Mathieu Perreault, I like him. Good bottom 6 guy. And in Columbus, it's a bit better. In 2010-2011, plays the remaining 33 games of the year, has 7 goals, 7 assists, 14 points, plays all 5 playoff games, and he has a goal. His first career playoff goal is his only one so far, or if you will, 5 playoff games, lull. In 2011-2012, with Columbus, he plays all 82 games, 9 goals, 13 assists, 22 points, so they're still looking for that 44 games, 19 points. He does set a career high in goals, but if he had played that whole 06-07 season, if it were not for injuries and getting sent down, who knows what could have happened that season. Columbus obviously doesn't make a playoff push as a result. They don't make the playoffs. In 12-13, though, something clicks with O'Sullivan. There's something that O'Sullivan does in the offseason, and we haven't found out what. He said that there was something big that happened to him, and he doesn't want to reveal what it is. I'm assuming it's something personal. We know that he has a daughter that was born in the summer of 2012. We can speculate all we want. I'm going to choose not to. But it clicks in 12-13, all 82 games. He puts up 23 goals, 35 assists for 58 points. Patrick O'Sullivan, explodes offensively that year. He is turning into a great second line forward there. And Patrick O'Sullivan, now at 27, 28 years old, this is when a player is usually in their prime, and might be it for him. He plays 12 playoff games that year, 3 goals, 2 assists, 5 points, as the Blue Jackets are eliminated. After a very, very good playoff run for them. O'Sullivan, nice second liner there for them. And then the next year he gets even better. In 13-14 with Columbus, he plays all 82 games, 24 goals, 43 assists, 67 points. Patrick O'Sullivan, he proves that he's not just a one-year wonder. He has a great, great follow-up season. 1 more goal sets a career high in goals for him, and more assists as well. Career high in goals, assists, and points up to that point for him. And he plays 5 playoff games, 1 goal, 2 assists, 3 points. I don't think you can blame it on Patrick O'Sullivan. The majority of the team just was not ready for that playoff run, for that first round matchup they had, and they're fortunately eliminated as a result. And then, interestingly enough, Patrick O'Sullivan wants more money. He does not want to take $3 million for 5 years, which was the reported offer from the Columbus Blue Jackets. $3 million for the next 5 years. Keep in mind, this is an era of 13-14 where the salary cap is nearing $70 million. And they want to give Patrick O'Sullivan $3 million of that. And O'Sullivan wanted 6 to 7. And he would somehow exceed that. He walks to free agency. And he tests, and he tests, and he tests. Until he's signed. It's August 17th of 2014. This dude, who just put up 67 points, he signed just over a month and a half later in free agency. He signs with the Buffalo Sabres for league maximum. Now you have to understand, Buffalo is a team that was always near the minimum cap floor. They needed to sign players to big deals. They infamously signed, as we know, who Columbus also ironically signed, Zdeno Chara to a 1-year, $8 million contract that closed out his career, I believe this season as well. Columbus also had Zdeno Chara for a couple of these seasons, so apparently O'Sullivan and Chara just mean pretty good seasons for O'Sullivan, because Chara, I believe, retired after the 14-15 season. But he signs at Buffalo, league maximum $12.8 million for 2 seasons. And, it works with Buffalo, I think, is the least you can say. In 14-15, he plays all 82 games, just 16 goals, 47 assists, 63 points, has another very, very solid season. For the max contract that he's been given, obviously you would want more. You would have wanted a 75, 80-point season just because of the progression that he's having. You would have wanted that. Still a good season. In the playoffs, he has his first great playoff performance. 13 goals, 3 goals, 8 assists, 11 points. You cannot blame that run. You cannot blame the Sabres losing on him. They had a great run. They went all the way to I believe it was the Eastern Conference Finals against the New York Rangers. They were out in the second round against the Rangers. They won in 7 in the first round, and then lost in 6 in the second, I believe, to the New York Rangers. Great run there for the Sabres, and one that they really needed, and especially Patrick O'Sullivan. The next year, something happens. Something happens again to Patrick O'Sullivan. He goes from being a very reliable second-line forward who could play first-line minutes like he was at that point, and he just turns it on. Something just happens with Patrick O'Sullivan. In 15-16 with Buffalo still, he plays all 82 games, 45 goals, 41 assists, 86 points. The 45 goals is top 10 in the NHL. Patrick O'Sullivan, who had a career high before of 24, after a career high of 23, after a career high of 9, after a career high of 7, after a career high of 5, scores 45 goals, 41 assists for 86 points. In 11 playoff games, 5 goals. As the Sabres are on the second round, he came up very, very clutch in that playoff, in the 2016 playoffs. Patrick O'Sullivan is due for a contract, and he's paid. Columbus, see, this is how you play your big-time players. He's extended to I believe it's a 1-year deal. Patrick O'Sullivan said that he did want to sign a 1-year deal. Very team-friendly, actually. It took $9 million, but still very team-friendly. He said that if he didn't perform, he will take a big pay cut. If he didn't perform the next season, he would absolutely take a pay cut. And he would take a pay cut anyways, because now we have to come down here. Because the madness, if we're thinking, hey, okay, damn, a 24 goal scorer putting up 45 goals, that's pretty good. Wait until you see this. You can start looking down here now. In October of 2016, he's still with Buffalo. Plays 7 games, 6 goals, 1 assist, 7 points. Very, very nice start to the season for Patrick O'Sullivan. Sabres fans know, okay, it's not sustainable, but you know what, hey, that's cool. 6 goals in 7 games. We're doing pretty good to start the year. Then he's traded. The trade, I actually have it wrong. It was not November 1st, so I apologize. It was October 31st. He was traded on Halloween. He's traded to the Tampa Bay Lightning, who are in their conference opposite divisions. Of course, Tampa Bay was the worst team in the NHL last year, the worst team in the league. Their leading point scorer had, I believe, 39 points. That's for another video, though, how they turned it around completely. Spoilers, including Patrick O'Sullivan. Yeah, he's traded to the Tampa Bay Lightning. They got Yuri Hudler in the offseason. They got some defense. They got a lot. They got Rick DiPietro. They got a lot in the offseason. And O'Sullivan was their big final move, it seems. Because he's traded for John Marino, who they had just drafted. Boone Jenner, who is a good third-line guy. Their own 2018 first, so they're betting big time on Patrick O'Sullivan. And Columbus' 2018 first. So they give up what, at the time, looked like 2 lottery draft picks, a future potential top 4 defenseman, and a third-liner to get a guy who's had a good month. He's had a good season. The 45 goals season, 86 points is very, very good. But you're getting a guy who has 6 goals in 7 games, and you're betting on him doing that for the rest of the year. In November, his first month with Tampa Bay, he plays 17 games, 18 goals, 7 assists, 25 points. He is easily named the first star of the month by the NHL. He is the number 1 star for them. And very obviously so, because O'Sullivan could not stop scoring. Of course, there's the infamous 4-goal game against, I believe it's San Jose. He had, I think, 2 hat tricks that month as well. O'Sullivan did not stop scoring in November. And it just continued into December. He plays 14 games, 13 goals, 10 assists, 23 points. He is, again, part of the 3 stars of the month for the NHL. And it's at this point you have to say, Patrick O'Sullivan has 27 goals in 27, sorry, wait, no, sorry, let me do this. He has 36 goals in 38 games. 36 goals in 37 games. There's a chance that he hits 50 and 50. He has 36 and 37. Can he do it? Well, we'll see. Actually, he's goal per game. He's got 36 and 36. He missed 1 game with Tampa Bay because of when they traded for him. They had played 8 games and Buffalo had played 8 and played 7. He's goal per game in the NHL. January. He plays 13 games, 14 goals, 7 assists, 21 assists. Patrick O'Sullivan hits 50 goals in 49 games, and I think everybody remembers where they are when that game was going on, because I think everybody was watching that 49th Tampa Bay game to see Will O'Sullivan hit it, and he would. Patrick O'Sullivan was great that game. He was all over the front of the net, and when he finally hit it, Tampa Bay just completely, it felt like it was going to implode on itself. That's how loud they were. The 14 goals, 7 assists, 21 points, that puts him as the first star of the month with 50 and 50 as well. And just that January just was big for the Tampa Bay Lightning. They were battling with the Florida Panthers, Montreal Canadiens, and Ottawa Senators for top of the division. That is how good the Tampa Bay Lightning were. Then February hits. Patrick O'Sullivan plays 10 games, 1 goal, 5 assists for 6 points. So O'Sullivan is still above point per game. He's still way above point per game. But he has 1 goal in 10 games. And Tampa fans are wondering, oh God, is Patrick O'Sullivan going to finish the season with just about 50 goals, maybe 60 if he heats it up at the end of the season? And why will he ask for $9.5 million? But then they remember O'Sullivan's already been extended. He's been extended for 3 more seasons. I believe the cap hit is $6.8 million. I have to look it up. But O'Sullivan's already extended. So no matter how he finishes the year, he has a career high in goals already. He has a career high in points. You know he should be able to put up at least 60, 70 points a year. That's already a bargain right there. But then the final month of the season happens. March and April. I combine these two because the NHL for some reason does as well. I understand it because players only usually have 5 games at the most in April. Some of them even only have 2 or 3. So I understand why they just combine March and April, but that is something I think the NHL does need to work on, is fixing the schedule a little bit, fixing their standings in that manner a little bit. But he plays with Tampa Bay, obviously, because they're not going to deal him at the deadline. What are they going to get? 5 first-round picks? No team, no matter how good O'Sullivan is, no team is going to deal 5-round picks for him. 5 first-round picks, sorry. He plays 21 games between March and April, 18 goals, 5 assists, 23 points. O'Sullivan bounces back big time from that 1 goal. He scores 17 more in 11 more games. Patrick O'Sullivan has a historic year for the HRHSL and for the National Hockey League. He plays 80 games. He missed 2 total games. Actually, I believe he missed 1 with Buffalo and then missed 1 with Tampa as a result, which weirdly incremented that to where he played 80 games, 70 goals. So not only is he the NHL's first 50 and 50 since Bernie Nichols, he's the first 70 goal scorer, I believe, since Teemu Selanne. And now the other names blanking on me. In Teemu Selanne's rookie year, the first 70 goal scorer since Teemu Selanne. And we know how good Teemu Selanne turned out. Patrick O'Sullivan is barely 30. I believe he turned 30 in the offseason. Patrick O'Sullivan just scored 70 goals in what should be his prime. Will he be able to do it again next year? I have no clue. He might fall back down to earth and score 20, maybe 30 goals again. Maybe he scores 50, maybe 60. Maybe he does 70 again. How do we know? He also put up 34 assists for 104 points in 80 games. He was second in the National Hockey League in points. He also played 12 playoff games, which are kind of irrelevant when you're talking about a 70-goal scorer. But he played 12 games, 5 goals, 4 assists, 9 points. He wins a lot of hardware this year. Not the Stanley Cup, because you can't win the Stanley Cup in just 12 games. That's to what Leafs fans tell you. He wins the Hart for the MVP of the National Hockey League. He wins the Ted Lindsay for best player. I spelled that wrong. I apologize. He wins the Ted Lindsay for the best player as voted by the players. So to everybody that's saying Yuri Hoodler carries O'Sullivan, clearly the players think otherwise. He wins the Hart, like I said, the Ted Lindsay. He wins the Rocket, obviously. Anton Kuryanov had 63 goals. He barely scraped what O'Sullivan did this year. He barely had 10 less goals. Or barely had, 10 less goals. He also wins the Frank J. Selke for best defensive forward in the NHL in a very shocking sweep, seemingly. Patrice Bergeron is who he was up against. So apparently if your name starts with Patrick and it either ends in K or Ik, or Patrice Is or K, you're probably going to win the Frank J. Selke, it seems like. But yeah, he wins the Hart, the Ted Lindsay, the Rocket, and the Frank J. Selke. And he makes NHL history and HRHSL history as the first 70-goal scorer in 27 years. Patrick O'Sullivan will go down in the history books, I think, as the last ever 70-goal scorer in the NHL. I don't know if there's a guy that can do it out there. Austin Matthews is young. He's projected to be a good 40, 50-goal scorer. I don't know if he ever hits 70. And Artemi Panarin with the Florida Panthers, he's pretty good. They've got great players around him. I don't know if he can hit 60 or 70. You know, Connor McDavid, it hasn't panned out so far in Washington. He's scored a career-high 50 points, which isn't super amazing for a guy picked first overall when the guy picked second is projected to be a 50-goal scorer, usually. I think Patrick O'Sullivan is the guy that is the last ever NHL goal scorer, at least for a long time. For at least the next 50 years, I think, there will never be another 70-goal scorer like Patrick O'Sullivan. And I hope he keeps it up. Patrick O'Sullivan, with this past season, scored his 200th career NHL goal, by the way. So, yeah, if there's a lesson to be taken from this, I guess that it's, firstly, I guess don't trade guys who are on really good streaks because you never know how they're going to turn out. Secondly, don't bet low on second round draft picks, late draft picks. I mean, the trade looked good because Pavel Demitra was an amazing hockey player. He was incredible. But with what O'Sullivan eventually turned into, trade doesn't look great for either team, who LA let go of O'Sullivan, and Minnesota for trading away Patrick O'Sullivan. Colorado bet way too much on him way too early and gave up hope too quickly. Columbus gave up hope too quickly. I think so, yeah. And also, no matter how low your goals are in your first couple seasons, that doesn't mean you can't work out. Look, like 5, combined 11. Sorry, a career high of 11, I should have said earlier. I apologize. He played these 2 seasons. He played 2 completely different seasons at the same time somehow. Combined 11, 9, then 23, 24, drops to 16, 45, 70. O'Sullivan is just a beast, and I think he's going to continue dominating for the next couple years. So yeah, that is going to do it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoy the content. Hit that like and subscribe button if you're new here and just stopping by. Thank you guys so much. I hope to see you guys in the future. And I hope you enjoyed this video. We're on the road to 800 subscribers. Maybe we've reached it by the time this video comes out. Maybe not. We'll see. Thank you guys again so much. I'm the HRHSL Guy, and I'm out. Thank you guys.